involve music. People like us who, now I'm an artist, so usually I don't have to worry too much about artwork myself, but people like TempoP who may not necessarily draw covers for their artwork or do animated music videos as far as stuff putting on YouTube, not the concerts, but like, you know, making videos and stuff for YouTube. We are always eager for people who are artists to contact us and say, oh, I'm totally willing to collaborate with you and do an image for you. And it's good exposure for you too, especially, I'm not guaranteeing that the song will become popular, but in the end, you know, we do it for fun. And if you like to draw Vocaloid and just do it for fun, then let us know, because we are always eager to find new artists. And like I said, there's animators. There's a lot of animators out there who make a lot of money doing what they do because they collaborate with musicians, you know, who are really popular, or, you know, they have friends who are musicians, and the friend's like, yeah, I really want to do something special for this song. Could you animate a music video for me? And the friend will be like, oh, absolutely, I have free time. It's good exposure for me. You know, you don't have to just be a musician. If you're good at other stuff, then get it out there, because we are always looking for people who are multi-talented or people who specify in one thing. It doesn't just have to be music.
Might be a good time. You want to play that video of?
I think we're gonna skip the video just until we answer questions. Okay.
Well, I guess we had a fantastic video regarding what Vocaloid production is, with multiple animators, multiple artists, and musicians.
I will play a snippet from it, but I'll probably do it after I answer some questions, just so anybody who has questions later. Can we move on to it? For those of you who are any of you interested in actually wanting to compose music or do anything like that for yourselves in the future? Quite a few of you. Okay, so one of the big questions is, how can you get started if you're not already a musician? If you're already a musician, then you basically know what you're going to do, especially if you play guitar or you do anything musically related that's not Vocaloid. I have a friend named Paul. He's a guitarist. He's my partner. Together we are Apocalypse. Ha! Puns. But because my username is AkiGlancy. Anyway, but if you don't currently make music, there's a number of very affordable music programs, especially if you want to start. I use a program called Mixcraft. Mixcraft, I believe, is currently on its 6th installment, but I have Mixcraft 5. Not too much different, and it's very, very easy to use. It was recommended to me. I got a 14 free day trial. Within 2 days, I had composed my first original song, and I was like, awesome! This is what I want to do with my life. FL Studio is extremely popular amongst producers. It's also very good for if you play a musical instrument like a guitar or a piano and you record it and you need to master it and stuff. FL Studio is a pretty good basic program for beginners or for people who go beyond beginning to use. Cubase, never used it, heard lots of good stuff about it. What's unique about Cubase, very important to note, Cubase actually has a Vocaloid application. You can buy a product called Cubase with Vocaloid, and it comes as one package. You get the Vocaloid 3 editor, and you get Cubase. I think it's available on the Vocaloid store. If not, if you Google search it, you will find it. And then there's, of course, for Mac users, there's GarageBand. There's a lot of people who use GarageBand who aren't Vocaloid users, who are UTAU users. Are you guys familiar with what UTAU is? For those of you who are not, just a reminder, there's going to be an UTAU panel at 7 o'clock. My friend Mist, who's in the audience today, she will be hosting it. I will be there helping them out a little bit. UTAU is similar to Vocaloid. It is a synthesizer, but what's unique about it is it is absolutely free, 100% free. It's a little bit more difficult to produce commercial work with it, though, because it is free. But again, what you do is you research. Keep in mind, though, that Vocaloid is only available for PC at the moment. They're working to get some Mac applications ready, but I don't really know what the status of that is. So again, keep in mind, Vocaloid's only for PC, but if you want to use Vocaloid and you only have a Mac, there's plenty of users out there who would be happy to help you create Vocaloid vocals.
Exactly. I mean, Aki was talking about a whole bunch of software you can use to synthesize your sounds, and that doesn't mean, I don't know, some people in this room might already be home musicians who have studios at home. It's going to be the same way you're making your current music. Vocaloid is another tool to add more to your music, regardless if you're using Logic, Pro Tools. It's a tool that you can use to create something that people will enjoy. I was talking with Internet Co. CEO, creator of Gumi, and even in Japan, what ends up happening is musicians, myself included, I played in a band, never really took off, but the moment I started using Vocaloid, people actually listened to my music, and that's the case in Japan too. Indie musicians, they were trying hard, music was good, but people weren't really listening to them. They didn't want to hear maybe their singer. I have no idea, but because Vocaloid hit, people had more appreciation. People actually took the time to listen. People wanted to be involved, and it's a tool right now that's catching on. A lot of people are connecting up with the voices, Miku, Gumi specifically, and other Vocaloid. People are used to it, used to hearing really fun songs, and they want to listen to your songs, and it's just as easy to reach people with Vocaloid as a tool.
Mm-hmm. You may wonder, though, how should I start with Vocaloid? Start simple and work your way up. Do not overwhelm yourself. If you want to get a Vocaloid, but you don't know Japanese, I would not recommend starting out with a Japanese one, unless you want to cover songs by other people. If you want to produce your own original stuff, there are plenty of English Vocaloids out there that are really, really good. Like I said, I am the artist for Ivana. Ivana just came out. She is excellent. A lot of the Japanese voice banks are now getting English language voice banks. Gumi has just gotten an English voice bank for anybody who's a fan of Gumi. Miku has an English voice bank in production. Kaito, I see a Kaito cosplayer. There is a Kaito. He just got a big software upgrade, and one of his upgrades is one of his voice banks is in English. So if you only speak English, I wouldn't recommend starting out with a Japanese language Vocaloid. I would definitely recommend starting out with your native tongue, and then moving on to, unless you're like me and wanted to practice with new languages. Where can you purchase these Vocaloids? My first stop to recommend you would be the Vocaloid store. There is an English Vocaloid store. At the moment, they don't have very many DVDs. I think they only have Gumi English DVDs because they're trying to market the DVDs to what language the store is. But you can get Japanese purchasable downloads, but it's only of the V3s. It's Mew, Rion, VY1, VY2, and who am I missing? Lapis and CU, but they are available for purchase. And you can also, if you Google search, you can find sellers, you can find dealers. They are not cheap. Keep in mind, especially if you get a Japanese one, they are not cheap. You have to be willing to spend. I can't even tell you how much money I own 20 Vocaloids, and I can't even tell you how much money I've spent. But on average, what I can tell you that you can expect to pay is around $250 for a Vocaloid. That seems like a lot of money because it is, but it's worth it, especially if it's something you really, really want to do.
Is that after you buy the engine too? So you buy the engine?
No, the engine, like I said, okay, that's a very good note. Thank you, sir. V3 for the first time has been the technology is that you have to buy the editor and then the libraries, the Vocaloid voice banks separately. What's nice about it, though, is that if you already own a Vocaloid, a V2, let me specify, V1s are Lola, Leon, Mako, and the original Kaito and Miriam. That's all of them, right, miss? They will not work on V3, so and they are being retired. They will no longer be being sold for much longer, I don't think. I don't think they're going to stop selling them this year. But V2 is still for sale. If you already have a V2, or if you want a V2 Vocaloid such as Miku, or Iroha, or any of the other V2s, the Vocaloid editor comes with the V2. But V3 is the future. So if you want a V3, I would recommend first, don't let your screen go black. Sorry. I think my computer actually turned off. We'll get it back. Don't worry. I would recommend getting the editor first before you do anything else. But there are packages where you can get the editor and a voice, but it does cost extra. If you want to get a really good package, and if you want to do Japanese music, I would recommend, personally, getting CU. CU is the new Korean Vocaloid. She's bilingual. She can sing in Japanese and in Korean. And she comes with an editor. You can, if you're overseas, you can only get her on her eBay store. There are dealers on eBay, and they did it so that people from overseas can purchase her. And she has a package that comes with the V3 editor. It's about $270. I know because that's the package I got. But there's plenty of packaging out there that you can get, both the library and stuff. But if nothing else, get the V3 editor, because it will. But you will eventually have to get a voice for it, because if you just get the editor, you can't really use it. And
if you get the voice on its own, it comes with the tiny editor.
Yes, good note. Thank you, Mist. If you do get the voice on its own, it does come with a small, tiny version of the V3 editor, but you can only edit up to, I think it's 30 bars of
something like that,
of vocals, and it has a reverb effect on the voice that you cannot remove, which can be really obnoxious, unless you like reverb, in which case it's not a problem. But let me use this opportunity now while I'm getting stuff back. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, does it work with pretty much, like you mentioned, all the Pro Tools and all the other ones? Mm-hmm. I mean, how does it interact with other softwares?
It interacts fine. I think there's I recommended FL Studio as a beginning program. I think there is a patch where you can actually edit Vocaloid in FL Studio. What Vocaloid is, it's a VST. Is anybody familiar with that terminology? Anybody who works with a composing program, a digital composing program, knows what a VST is. It's basically the instrument. If you have a composing program and you choose to start composing with a piano, that piano is a VST. It's something that's been programmed to sound like a piano. Vocaloid, since it is a VST program, you can import the VST part of the program into FL Studio and use it in there.
So they have a rewire programming too if you need it. Otherwise, what you can do is just create the backing tracks in Pro Tools, import it into. It's also Vocaloid 3 is kind of like a small DAW, and you can do a few parameters, but a lot of people do like to export the sound file, the vocals only, take it out and just tune it like a normal recording of any vocalist out there.
Yes, sir.
Do you use any tools outside of the program? Do you use like a keyboard with the program?
Do I use any tools? I do not, because I can't afford it. I spend all my monies on the Vocaloid and not on the equipment that can make my Vocaloid music better. I will not always be like that, but they're like Pokemon. I gotta get them all. 20 is not enough. But it's fully capable, depending upon what programs you use. If you have a keyboard, or if you have a guitar, or if you have something, and you have a music program, I do not use anything like that, but the VST I use to compose my piano, I compose primarily ballads. I do a thing where I can actually type the the notes on using my computer keyboard, like, A, B, C, D, and then edit them in the editor. I mostly just use a mouse, though, just because it's easier. But if I want something to have a certain effect, then I'll use like my keyboard. But this is the program I use to compose. This is Mixcraft 5, if it'll load. If it'll load.
Do you do your producing on that bio you've got right up
Yes, and as you can see, it overheats very easily and shuts down. So I'm hoping to get a new computer soon. But yes, this is the computer. Everything you see here in front of you, this is my music studio. I have nothing else.
So Liza, you don't need much to create music these days.
Exactly.
It's very easy. I would recommend a keyboard. I would recommend some good monitors, just so you can hear your work. But other than that, you really don't need too much. Your computer doesn't need to be super powerful these days. It used to be, but not anymore.
Like I said, it's making music can be very affordable if you just go about it the right way. Like, for instance, this is all I use. This is all I use. And I've been able to do all this stuff. I'm going to load... I'm not going to load that one. Oh, heaven forbid I load that one. You can. This is what I use to compose. I'm going to load up a very, very quick thing. I don't know if I'll play it, but at least I'll show it to you, because I don't want my computer to suddenly die again. But this is basically what I do. Is I have my piano here, and I have a piccolo, and I have a little thing of Ia. How many are you familiar with the Vocaloid Ia? She's a new V3 created by a new company called First Place. She's becoming very, very popular, especially when used in conjunction with Miku. But I'll play the... do you want to hear this? I'll play for you. Okay, this is what it'll sound like. Still working on it. It is not finished, obviously. So...
And plus our sound system this morning was disconnected, I think. We're going to have to mic.
Yeah, so our amazing microphone will act as our... Okay, so... all I got so far. It's a work in progress. But that's what you do. And here's what it looks like when you actually go into these little individual things. Here are the notes. Just typing them in, spreading them in, adding effects, adding things like reverb, delay. You just edit and you practice and you try new things. It's all about trying new things. And you just got to be willing to do it. And like I said, you don't need a lot of equipment, but if you can get the equipment, it helps.
A lot of the Shelby computers have a bunch of that stuff.
Yes. But does anybody else have any questions? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Programming from the Vocaloid.
Okay.
I know, the only things that I know that programmers are actually involved in, that I know, is parsing models in the Miku dance, parsing gradients, and Maya models.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of any other opportunities for programmers? Because I'm a musician and I make music, but I'm terrible with Vocaloid.
Actively, I don't necessarily know of any programming, but it never hurts to contact companies.
A friend who makes basically a version of so we do concerts. He wanted to program a software that basically was a one-stop shop for playing concert. You press play on it and it would render real time. Animiku is the program that. Otherwise, gaming is also an opportunity to go into. I think there's multiple, if I'm answering your question correctly, I'm hoping, there's multiple avenues. Some people, maybe even, who knows, Vocatone was a no-name company until they created Vocaloids. find a new way to program a Vocaloid from scratch instead of sampling thousands and thousands of voice samples to create it. Maybe there's a new way out. I know AHS, who created SFA2 Miki, wanted to originally. He stumbled upon Vocaloid, but he was originally trying to find a way to create sound out of nothing, just from programs. And he says that the technology right now you can't make it because you're gonna need like a 400 gigahertz computer or something, and it doesn't exist yet. But that's the direction that people are going. Who are very obviously very brilliant. They have ideas. It's just how we're gonna get the result. So,
would you guys like to see the editor in action? Okay, this is a little song I wrote called "Goodbye to a Childhood Friend," and this is the vocals for it. I'm gonna have Miku sing it. Just gonna play you a teeny itty bitty little minuscule clip, but you can hear what it sounds like in the editor by itself, no mastering or anything. So. So that's the editor in action. Very nice. Yes, sir.
I guess just follow up with his question before, like we've seen your DAW program where you had your MIDI and then
yes,
your Vocaloid was an audio track, if I remember, and then you just showed us the editor.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still missing the connections. Do you have them both open at the same time?
Well, yeah.
Are you saving the editor to the DAW?
It really depends on how you go about doing it. What you can do is, if you already have a musical track and you're trying to write a melody for it, you can write the melody in the DAW, and you can export it as a MIDI. You guys know what a MIDI is? It's a virtual sound file, and basically all you do is you do export MIDI or export MP3. You export as a MIDI, and you can actually open it in V2 or V3, and then you have all of the melody there, and you can edit it as you want. Or you can do it from scratch, whereas you have the melody in your DAW, and you know what you want it to sound like. And I do this sometimes, in that you basically start writing it from scratch. You have your mouse, you click, you drag it out to however long you want the note to be, you type in your lyric or your sound, you edited it, and what you do is, once you have it done, you export that in Vocaloid. You can export it as a WAV file. And then once you have a WAV file, it's basically like an MP3 or something, and you just bring it into whatever mixing program you have, your DAW or whatever, and you just line it up with your music, and then you just mix it, just add it.
As far as accuracy goes, I know my partner Neutrino also does it the same way. We hand draws it out. You get a little bit more control over the timings, the breaths. You can edit every. You don't have to actually play it perfectly on the keyboard, so you would lay it out more logically, per se, if you write it out by hand. It takes a little bit longer, but once you get fast, it's pretty unique. The differences of results you can achieve with it, I think.
What's licensing like for images? So you're the illustrator, creator of the image of a particular Vocaloid.
Correct.
Now, if I buy that voice and I decide I want to market some songs of hers, can I just create any kind of? I can buy art for hire from anybody and push that out, or is there licensing that has to occur?
Like I've told you, Vocaloid is a musical instrument. Yeah. So basically, when you buy it, you don't have to really pay any licensing in order to sell stuff with it, unless you were using the original artwork from the DVD box.
Okay, so if I don't use your original artwork, I can.
Yeah.
I can do
absolutely. Absolutely.
You mentioned games. If you created a game and you used the software to create sounds and things in the game, and you used all those characters and all those images, you don't have to license those characters.
So the music portion and the gaming concert portion is a little bit different, in my opinion, in a sense that music, it's not what in Japan they have this Krypton Future Media started, they created PIAPRO, which is their general licensing agreement for any user, end user, whoever wants to use the vocals just has to register themselves. Basically, that's all it takes. It's very simple. When it comes down to Vocaloid concerts, more in-depth, now we're reaching 2,000 people, 3,000 people. Everyone's paying ticket prices. It gets a little tricky. I mean, I have to tie license agreements with Krypton Future Media. Now we're talking outside of the film realm into the professional realm, and it's going to get a little bit different, but just for music, for an artist, for MMD animators, for art, as long as you have the software, as long as you're with PIAPRO, you are golden.
Don't use Vocaloid.
Yeah.
I'm watching you guys. I'm not even telling you what it is. Just don't use it. If you hear that word, run away, or I will be very, very disappointed.
You mentioned it to us. We must hear it now.
All right. We're gonna start wrapping it up. I think we wanted to play you a song, but I think maybe we might, if we're lucky, maybe we'll play it later at a different panel or something, or maybe do a preview of it at our exhibitors table. If you guys had any questions that we didn't get to answer, please come by our table at the exhibitors room. We are in the back. We have a big screen TV playing Miku concerts. We're going to be hard to miss. Yeah. So if you guys had any questions that you weren't able to get answered, then please come and visit us, and we will do our best to answer them for you. But thank you guys for coming. We have, as we're packing up, we're going to have albums for sale. If you want to buy an album from us before we leave the room, come on up. They are for sale. But if not, then we'll have them for sale at the exhibitors booth.
Great. Thank you so much for coming.